Welcome to Sacred Magic. Violet is on a quest to bring sacredness back into our everyday experiences. Anyone can have an extraordinary life when they are able to tap into their sacred magic within. Violet and her guests will be sharing their divine passions, inspirations, and stories of connecting with their sacred magic. We are so happy you have joined us today. Let's get started with your host, the magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, VialetBRayne.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sacred Magic Podcast. I'm your host, VialetBRayne. My guest today is Jill Bill. You know, she did not really start living her dream life until she was 60 years old. Until then, she had an interesting life, a good life, but not a life by design. Jill sat on the sidelines for decades due to her obesity. She tried and tried to lose weight. She spent so much wasted time and money, even had a dangerous surgery to no avail. She was at the point of just accepting her fate, even knowing it would shorten her own life. Then she had an epiphany, the one thing she had never done for her weight loss journey. She realized that a change of mindset had completely been her answer to quitting smoking. Would it really help her with weight loss? It did that and so much more. It changed her life. She lost 148 pounds. She got off the sideline of life and back into the game. There was no more making excuses for why she couldn't try things. She had just started saying yes long before she lost the full amount of weight. Living out loud put a fire in her soul, and she began truly living. Her passion for life turned into a passion to help others to change their thoughts, to change their world. It is well worth it to listen to your story and get on board to become the bougie babe or bougie bro. If not now, then when? So welcome, Jill, to the show.
Thank you, Violet. Thank you for having me.
I love it. I love that you're on the show. So you talk about changing mindset. For some people, that's not such an easy task. So share with us a little bit what you mean by changing mindset and what are some things to really look at things from a different perspective so that you can.
Sure. So changing your mindset is so much easier than you can even believe because all you need to do is become aware of what you're thinking and what you say about yourself, what you say about your life. If you're focusing on, I'm overweight, I need to lose weight, blah, 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 you're focusing on your weight. You're not focusing on doing it. So we need to change our thoughts to, I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to get strong. I'm going to have the right nutrition. I'm going to feel fabulous. I'm going to have so much energy. That's what you need to focus on. You focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so listen to the things you say to yourself because we're our worst enemy, honestly, when it comes to our thoughts. When you look in that mirror, you don't go, oh my gosh, look at this lump or look at stuff or, I look ugly today. You don't say those things to yourself. You switch that around. You notice what's good about you. There's things to love, even if you don't like the weight you're at or anything like that. So notice, oh, my eyes look really pretty today. Or, I feel beautiful in this dress, whatever it is. You keep talking nicer to yourself and you keep acknowledging what you do like. And pretty soon you'll be changing your thoughts. You'll be putting lotion on in the morning and you'll be like, thank you, legs, for carrying me through all of this time on this planet with this extra weight. You've been strong, you've been helpful, you're beautiful. I love you.
I love that.
It seems silly, but you know what? Every part of our body has worked triple time for anybody that's obese to keep us going. So, my gosh, it needs to be acknowledged. And then pretty soon it's like gratitude. The more you look for gratitude, the more you don't have to look because your mind changes, knowing you're going to be looking for things to be grateful for, and it finds them for you without you honestly going, what am I going to be grateful for today? Or I haven't thought of anything for today. What was it? Pretty soon your mind just takes over and looks for it, just automatically.
So, what are some of the things that you wanted to do in life that you were sitting on the sidelines? And how many of those things have you done today? And what has that experience been like?
Oh my gosh, it's been like coming to life. I've always had a bucket list. It's had the top three things on it for decades, but they were things I couldn't do. Things like swimming with the dolphins, going zip lining, driving NASCAR was in the top three. Um, I mean, my list has hundreds and hundreds on it. I keep adding. And now, as I'm marking them off, I still keep adding because I want to experience life. I haven't experienced it. I sat on a sideline watching everybody else have life, do things that I was not capable of doing or believed I wasn't capable of doing. That's a big thing to remember. Can you really not do it, or do you just believe you can't do it? Because that's when my life really changed. I went to Mexico with friends and my husband, and they were all going swimming with the dolphins, and I wasn't going. I thought I had 8 million reasons why. Will they have a vest that fits me? Am I too big to get in and out of the water? Can I get myself up and out of the water? And honestly, could I hurt the dolphins? Because they lift you out of the water. I had all these fears if they were practical fears or not practical fears. And in the past, I would just went, you know what? I'm just not even going to put myself in that situation. But this time I decided I'm going to ask the hard questions. And so I asked those questions. And it was, yes, we have a vest to fit you. Absolutely not. Can you hurt the dolphin? And yes, that we have a ladder on the side. And if you need help, we'll help you. I went swimming with the dolphins. Greatest experience. Greatest experience. And that turned into the next day going ziplining, which was an unbelievable story. It was life-changing.
Wow. How awesome is all of that? So, how long did it take you from one point to the next point to really start losing weight and getting traction? Because I think sometimes it takes a little time to get that traction going where you're moving forward.
Yes, it does. I mean, the bigger you are, of course, the more weight you can lose quicker. But my whole point was not to do it any way that I'd done it in the past. Because I had been to places, Weight Watchers, I lost 10 pounds in the first week. And then you go down to a pound a week, a pound a week, a pound a week, if you're lucky. And that's okay. You don't need to lose a boatload of weight immediately. We want to, but that's not the healthiest way to do it. So honestly, I think I lost the first 40 pounds in about 3 months. And that's when I went and did the zip lining and the dolphin and that. And that was really, really life-changing. And the more I could do, the less I wanted to eat things that I should not be eating just for my health. Not to lose, just for my health. Because I don't care how, what your weight is. If you're not healthy, it doesn't matter. I mean, your life's still not going to be great because health is everything. It's so much more than what weight we are. I am not at the weight the doctor says I should be at, but you know what? I've never been as healthy as I am now. And if this is as good as it gets, praise God that I'm here. Because it's fun. But honestly, the first 100 pounds came off probably from February to, I think it was the end of July. And it didn't seem very fast, but when I look back, it's like, that's pretty fast. And then after that, it was slower, but probably another 6 months, and I was really close to my first goal. My second goal. The first one was the 100. And now I just keep doing the same thing. I keep watching my portions. I keep thinking more of my health than anything. And I have to say, I'm an addict. I'm a food addict. Just like I was a smoker, I was addicted to smoking. And the more I thought about it, of not doing it, the more I did it. It's like, oh, I gotta quit soon. I better get these in, Well, with weight loss, we have to eat. You cannot not eat, but you can choose what you eat. And pretty soon you're not craving donuts, which I never thought I would say. I love donuts. And you just do what's best for you for a change. And it feels so good. You want to keep doing it.
And you've kept it off for quite a while. So, some of those yo-yo diets, I call them
Mhm.
yo-yo,
Yeah.
right? You lose all this weight, and then all of a sudden you're gaining all of it back again,
Hmm.
fairly quickly. And you've been able to maintain it, which I think is also very key.
It is really key. And that is a lot different than I thought it would be because I never had done that before. And I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I go within like 15, 20 pounds even. Like it'll start creeping up, and I think, oh, it'll stop, and it doesn't. And then I have to go, Jill, get it under control. Because it's easy to think, well, 5 pounds, no big deal. Well, it brings friends pretty quickly. So you can't just let it go. You have to focus again and bring those portions down a little bit, walk a little more, whatever. You don't have to change your whole life, just little bits and pieces.
Hmm. And I would imagine at some point you'll maintain it because I think you're talking about mindset, but I also think there's a place in our mind where we have set where our weight is going to be. Like, this is what I look like. This is where my weight, and your body keeps trying to get back to that because that's in your mindset of that's who you are, right? And so we keep going back to that. But at some point, as you keep losing and keep maintaining, that mindset is going to change completely of that's not me anymore. This is me. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. It hasn't happened for me, but I think it's because I was obese for, 35, 40 years. And
Mhm.
so I don't think my body had any idea where it should be because
Right.
I didn't have that. Always have always had a weight problem. Now I don't have a weight problem is what I don't believe in that anymore.
Right.
Now it's just maintaining where I want to be. And where the number is didn't matter once I got going. Because I thought, oh, I want to be this way. Well, then I got here and thought, this feels pretty dang good.
Mhm.
And it's fluctuated here and there, but just keep thinking about it and keep moving forward.
Yeah, I think that's what I mean by the mindset. When you've been a certain weight for a long period of time, you kind of see yourself there. And as you lose and
Mhm.
you have some time being at that, then it shifts to a whole new mind. Do you know what I'm saying?
I
Because we've
do.
been
Then your
that,
body gets real
yeah.
comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
my body's really comfortable with where I'm at now, and it thinks that's where I'm supposed to be. If I change that and I started losing weight and then was there for a period of time, I could see where my body would shift to go, oh, now you're this,
Hmm.
right? And you would maintain it. It wouldn't be as hard, right? You might continue to lose weight, but it puts you in a different, I don't know, a view of who you are and what
Right.
that is for you, right? Because
Yeah. Whatever
mindset is,
feels right.
yeah, mindset is everything.
It is everything. And I've seen women that carry, more weight than supposedly they should by what, standards or doctors say, that are incredibly healthy. And they can walk for miles and they can do things. I've seen very thin women that struggle because they're not getting their protein or whatever it is their body needs. They have
Mhm.
a great metabolism, but they're not that healthy. So what your body looks like is not necessarily the end goal. It's how you feel and what you can do and how strong you get. And you have energy. Energy is the greatest gift, I'm telling you.
I love that. I love that. You've had an opportunity to be in a magazine or going to be in a magazine again,
Yeah.
talking about your life. Share with us some of the things you've been sharing there and what you're sharing with clients today that come and work with you.
Okay, so yes, I was in Wow magazine and that was very exciting. It was a 5-page layout. I expected a little quarter page. Um, that was in March. And now, so that was a year ago. I think it was. I can't remember exactly. But now I am an honorary Woman of Wonder through Wow Magazine and am being honored this month with my own cover and again. So that, oh my gosh, that's something I never expected in my life. And some of the things that just really stepped up in my mind, I went and did stand-up comedy. I comedy. And I'm a funny person inside of me. I always feel funny and I make people laugh. And I finally went, what do I have to lose? I'm going to go do it. You know, I've got 45 years or 48 years of marriage under my belt. And it's so nice to feel like I'm not embarrassing my, even though he never treated me like I was embarrassing him, but I felt that way. So the magazine, one of my greatest stories I touched on a minute ago was I believe it's called An Angel on Earth. And it has to do with ziplining. I was in Mexico. I went with all my friends and family, my husband and my friends, and I was not going to zip line because I knew I was probably over the weight limit. I'd only lost like 40 pounds at the time. And I started at 330, 333 exactly. So everybody was in the room getting ready. And this kid, I call him a kid, he's probably in his early 20s, comes up and says to me, so why aren't you getting ready? I said, oh, I'm not ziplining. I just came to watch. And he goes, why would you just watch? I said, well, I'm sure I'm over your weight limit. And he asked me, and I told him, he goes, well, you're not. I said, well, I doubt you have a harness that'll fit me. And he said, well, I do. Anything else? I said, there's no way I can make it up those stairs. They are steep and it is far. He goes, if I have to, I'll push you. Anything else? He got rid of all my excuses. And that's something to really focus on in your life. How much of your life is an excuse and not necessarily factual? So he got me ready. I went up those stairs and a miracle happened and I didn't need any help. I didn't have to stop and rest. I made it all the way to the top. Then I got a little scared, of course, like everybody I think does. But my other fear was, how am I going to stand up when I get to the next landing? Because I was so heavy, I laid back instead of sitting up while I was ziplining because I couldn't hold my upper body up. And this kid jumps in front of me right before I take off, and he goes over to the next podium. And I was like, okay, I'll try this, And I went, and as I got over there, he and another guy was standing there, and they reached down, they grabbed an arm and helped me to stand up with the momentum. It was just incredible. And I know in my heart of hearts to this day, that kid was an angel. I know he was. He showed me, you got to get rid of your excuses and get out there and live life. He was there for me that day. I have no doubt in my mind that he's an angel.
That's an awesome story, right? I can imagine everyone's fear. Now, I'm afraid of heights. So I can't imagine zip lining. So when I go, I'm the one that sits on the sideline. You crazy people, you go do that. I have no desire. It is not on my bucket list.
And
but
that's okay.
I love that people have that on their bucket list and absolutely love to do that. Right? And so I love the fact that you got to have that experience. But I am so terrified of heights because my father loved to get me on the Ferris wheel and wait till we got stuck at the top and swing seat. And I can't do heights. And I've tried as an adult to get on there and overcome that. And I just start getting lots of anxiety. And it's like, okay, sure. I know where my limits are and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Right? Not everything is for everybody.
No.
You make your list on what would excite you to do.
Yeah.
Do you want to do a 5K? Do you want to swim with the dolphins? Do you want to drive NASCAR? Do you want to climb a mountain? I mean, it could be anything. Do you want to get up off the ground easier? Do you want to play with grandkids? We go out and play soccer. I could have never done that. I go kick the ball with them now.
That's awesome.
It doesn't have to be a huge thing, and it doesn't have to be life-changing just make your list of what you'd like to try and go do it. You don't have to wait to be a certain size to do a lot of these things. You know, I didn't want to go to Disneyland because I was afraid how many rides they turned me away from because I wouldn't fit. I don't have to get a extension on my belt on the airlines anymore. That in itself was so exciting. I can put the tray down. I couldn't put the tray down before. My stomach was in the way. So none of these things are things to feel bad about yourself or any of that. We are who we are. There's a reason we got to the weight we have gotten to. You know, everybody has a reason. And I help you find that reason, the real true reason. You know, I help you change your mindset. I help you learn how to think and talk to yourself to have a more joyous and fun life. I mean, the weight turns out to be a blessing, but you get so much more with it. When you get healthy, you get so much more life.
I love that. I love that.
Exciting. Yeah.
So share with us, Jill, if people wanted to connect with you and work with you, what are some of the things that you offer?
So I do a lot of one-on-one classes, and I do the things that I just told you. You know, I walk you through it. I help you find your real why, because whys are hard to come by. Because they're not going to be the first three things you think about. You got to go deeper and go deeper and go deeper until you find what is the real reason why I want to accomplish this. Because that's going to stick with you for a long, long time when you're no longer feeling it, when those donuts are smelling good. You know, you've got to have something to keep you on track. So your why's got to be really big. So we walk through all those steps. We find out all the things you don't like about it. We find out all the things you do like about being overweight, because we are overweight for a reason. It's not just that we don't have willpower or something. It is giving us a benefit if we believe it or not. So it's a safety thing. It's something going on that you're like, I'm fine like this. You know, there's always a payoff or we wouldn't do it, is what it comes down to.
Right.
So all those things. I also have, you know, we can do walking groups. We're going to get some groups together for people, because people come to me for more than weight loss now. They come to me, you know, because they're grieving or they're not happy with a certain part of their life. They want to quit smoking, because it's all the same mindset change. Once you learn to change your mind, you can figure out how to do that to make all these other changes. It's incredible. It's incredible. I was a smoker for 30 plus years, and I smoked 2 packs a day. And I tried 16 times. I did not succeed till that 17th time when I figured out how to change this. And then I never touched a cigarette after that day. It's been 14 years. I still have not touched a cigarette. That is crazy to me. I loved smoking. And it's crazy that I'm not a smoker. Crazy. But it's all the mindset. So that's what I work with you. And if you want to start walking, you know, if you only make it to the corner like I did, that's great. You did it. You went to the mailbox, you know, wherever you start is perfect. It's perfect for you. And man, you did it. It's so hard sometimes, but it's only as hard as we think it is. You know, we let our mind think.
Mm-hmm.
And before you know it, I'm telling you, it was not long and I was doing a mile. So it's just crazy. So I help you do those things. I help you turn your life around and enjoy it. This is not as, you know, a jail term or something that I've got to get this weight off. I've got to get this weight off. You will get the weight off. You will. But you got to enjoy the journey, because there's so many things you can do that you don't think you can.
I love that. I love that.
Yep. So we do things like that. And very, very soon, I'm excited about this. I'm starting Jill's Clubhouse. So we will meet in person or on Zoom, and we're going to give ourselves permission 2 hours twice a month to create. So most of the time, we won't give ourselves permission to do things we enjoy. So I don't know if you do, you know, you crochet blankets, you paint, you scrapbook, whatever. that you've got everything, all of the boxes are sitting over there, and you don't allow yourself time to do it. So I'm giving you permission to do that. And not only that, we are going to have 2 hours together. You're going to make new friends. I'm going to coach you wherever you want coaching. You know, if you're like, how do I get past this? How I want this in my life. I'm going to help coach why we create and enjoy each other's company. So we're not going to be alone anymore. We have other people with same desires and same wants. And in the meantime, we're creating and enjoying ourselves. People need community, and I'm going to create that community for them.
I love that. How
And
awesome.
and if you don't know how to do crafting or anything, I'll show you. You know, we'll do a card, we'll do something with stuff you already have in your home, or you can come to my place and we'll do it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Sounds fun. Sounds like a lot of fun. I believe we don't play enough. So that's the reason I do so many play shops at the center. So people have opportunities to come and play, because that inner child work is so important.
So important.
Right?
You know, and I don't care what age you are, you still need a recess. You know, you can't just go and go and go. You need a recess. And
Right?
that's what I want to help you do. Let's have a recess. Let's, let's play a little game. Let's play a little music. Let's just enjoy life.
I love that. I love that. Well, Jill, thank you
you.
so much for being on here today and sharing your story with
Absolutely.
us. What an amazing journey and story you have to offer.
Thank you.
I just am so glad that you took the time today to come on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me and believing in me, because we got to change the world. We got to be there for each other.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for having me. And I'm sure you'll let people know how to reach me. And I can't wait. Give me a call. I do 30-minute free consultations, and we can discuss whatever you want to discuss.
I love that. We will have her website on the video. And if you're listening to a podcast, we will have it in the description so you can always check it out. Thank you for taking the time today to listen or to watch Sacred Magic Podcast. I hope you'll like, comment, and follow us on your favorite channels, and that we'll see you in the near future. So thank you so much for taking the time today. I wish you a sacred and magical week.
Thank you for joining us. To find out more about Vialet, head over to discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. You can also send a personal message to Vialet through email, violet@discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. If you love the show, subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. Until next time, remember, we are meant to have abundant and joyful lives. We hope to see you soon at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.